Songs and Stories of the Ghouls was actually written a few years before that book. And it's utterly impossible to explain, but it all hangs together. Someday someone will read all of it and report on this fact. In the meantime, there are some reviews by people who haven't read it. So I picked out some things that I thought I might like to read. Was supposed to be endlessly interested. I don't want you. Driving towards the danger coast. I don't want you. I won't remember the beckoning grant, won't remember the grave. I don't want you. Screamed, burned, ripped. It is a fracture that at first is taken for a joke because it's your first break. Heavens. The servant of memory explodes. Creation have done with it. No, it's not even old or odd. And when no word works, there can be no notification. I have the wrong in my hand. This handle staggers and loses its furnished shape. How much interest they pay. Is that what interest is? I have this hapless caught. I might have caught it already. Remember me, cries Hooker. No, she's up on the hook, still in the days of Looker and Ken. Don't you think you ought to arrive if you're traveling? I was finding the middle of the handle, howling, if it remembers me at all, and if it does, leave, I think so. On the banks of whose kindness nowhere they blindly struck with hands that the fires leap when I of the earth and the overturning of prayers took my blankets and entered in order to face the other ghosts or ghouls. I knew our arts could make life bearable. I must be nothing I have been in recent times. I will mix a potion for our use, a substance to prevent the present as it has been known, your present. For hasn't there always been another one transpiring? The murders are already done, but since we are already ghosts from them, aren't they eradicated now? I must remember a new past and not the old present. This document records a possibility of power back here, which I have access to by betraying my old life and entering that camp where I won't remember my details. Already I speak of the fact that life was never new, but as I have returned to another past, may it renew. It has 1,000 wide approaches and gates open on all sides, many more than 4, where I imagine I have always plied my craft. What were you doing when I thought you were dead? Weren't you dead? The history of Carthage has been related by numerous ancient men, but the Tyrian princess Dido, founder of the city, cannot be mentioned except in relation to her tragic passion for Aeneas. An important production of little masks characterizes the Punic world. You are Hellenized. You worship Demeter and Cori. The young woman is dressed in a skirt of folded wings upon her sarcophagus. Our knowledge of the religion is lacunar, but it is possible that one worship nothing except for untrue but powerful images and symbols. Perhaps worship means use as it should. Was there once again, but this time I knew he was really dead. There's a poem in the scars on my liver, a written history or map which is beautiful but only covers me. I must be the child who isn't listening, so I'll hear. Destroyed in 146 BC, your poetry is dreadful, fake, and inept, and ours will survive as long as our empire lasts, every present writer says. Towards changes, hands of configuration, each small mask is a word to cover your lack. That is where language stands on no foundation, but the wars it has always upheld. For if your ways were destroyed and your poems broken and plowed into the salted earth, what would you be? The ghoulishness of this project is affirmed by any style, and there is no way forward but your empire's way. If you meet me here, I was lady. If I meet you where you were killed, then I'm no longer a civilian if I was your drug. There's nothing to replace what you need from the soil. Salted, it's perfect, your lady. If you meet me here, say the scars. If I met you as lady, the senses of where you are now. If I met you without a conscience, why should I have one when you're asking me to assuage yours? The gas is always free when you're dead. There's no money where you meet me, too bad. Black sequins compression, only the pressure is certain. Latest next to another. She'll turn around on initial discomfort. The sequins are appealing, besides the violets that are paper seals. At first it was too compressed, so I've diffused it, she says. I'm looking back at the future so it won't hurt with its depravity, dead man. And no one went with me that smooth because these jewels would nothing cost. Don't you see that once there was no cost because there wasn't really a compression because there were tiny shiny sequins? There's something I have to destroy. Place the humble sequins next to the light waves I'm in struggle, takes the eyes. She takes a mask to use its eyes. I remember this. Have eyes for light posed a given. You needed to see if you were a maid. She took the light and broke it as hard as she could so you couldn't tell it. The black discs scattered depths of details to place there all the change I had. I stand here in whose eyes the name of light is audience, burning into my forehead, waitresses' voices along the spine. If what was once light isn't my audience, what are you doing to me? Who was I broken for? Was it worth it to be? If I'm a shade acting what once will occur, it must be for the song I wore. Hear what they all said to you, a gesture or tone. Someone lies in the intentional tongue, betraying you again and again. The one or the many whose thoughts I stand here before. Because there's no light, what an outrage was made of the science of definitions, like what happened to me, performing here in a mad scene, not and never mad. I hadn't seen clearly until I enacted her. Dark Ray says he has to know what I know. Why does he have to know this? He isn't clear. Partly he needs to make sure I don't know too much, more than him, about anything he knows, because if I know what he knows as well as what I know, I'm superior. On the other hand, what I know, should know, is only what a woman knows, and though that may be considerable knowledge, it's only known by a woman, as long as it doesn't become operative. But then again, what if I know? The truth is, he and his club are hooked on me. There's no other way to put it. The transcriptions from inside your corpses are upsetting him, Medea says. You seem to know everything by now. What if you do become operative? After all, my job is to make you so. I will probably soon become a corpse again in my room at the Palms Motel. I will escape that corpse and eat another blood sack. The ghoulish club member is trying to stay alive long enough to know enough. Why can't he know it on his own? Can only read. I am like his most precious blood sack. And what or who is my own most reliable blood sack, someone might ask. I'm not clear on this matter. Suddenly I am eating a literal sack of blood. I become reddish. The color of my hair and my lips changes, reddens. What am I swallowing, Medea? Do you know? Eat it, she says. It's knowledge from dead cultures. It's also blood. Alyssa. Should I call her Alyssa or Dido? For years I myself have been told my name was actually my husband's name, one or another of them. I think the Romans renamed her Dido. A culture is the same as a husband. Her people had traveled from Phoenicia to settle in Africa, where I recently passed through judgment encountering Mat in another country. When Dark Ray read of this in my corpse, he was furious. He hates the non-regular nature of dead. He just knows ancient countries can't arise and dissolve like that. They are stationary, dissectable like bodies. They died of discernible causes, poor health, or more rarely, murder. Accidents, marvelous Latin word, like being in the way of an empire's velocity. They can't have a life after death. It was a most beautiful torso, my last corpse, marble with traces of paint, in the Afghani manner, more Alexandrian Greek than Buddhist, the sort of cultural mix that art critics can disdain for its lack of purity, which is perceived as lack of originating genius and of intensity. But how did an exotic broken statue come to be at a shabby motel? Inside me will be further poems and texts. I am working on them now. Will they be poisonous to the coroner, Medea? Beauty's often poisonous. The Palms Motel has an old blue linoleum floor, blue background with a lighter pink-shaded floral pattern against the blue. All of that flickers and darkens, since this is dead. I find the floor beautiful. Has dark ray read my palms? Was I fortunate? Oh, I had no palms. It was mostly a torso. My last hands are in another country, but any proper conqueror scientist could find them. A serious historian was present at the crime scene, says, "Can you tell if it's a Buddha or a woman? Because if it's just a woman..." Official in some bureau tries to convince you your name is your husband's. You were married, weren't you? This is a poem I'm not bothering to set in line breaks. It's raining outside. Don't do anything dumb, official says. Don't try to change your civil state, which must of course be my husband. Official's brown-skinned and from a colony. Originally. How many times have they changed your name in which countries? Don't be pathetic, Medea says, like Alyssa Dido. How many blood sacks has she eaten in order to keep trying to found a city in dead? You have to know the plot for that one. I don't care. Glory. The name of Gloria is Morning Glory. You can walk right into it and greet, I forgot, no reason. You are my word. The name of power forgotten is Morning Glory. I was starved and they had nothing except for Gloria's name, their relation. This is pathetic bread bought on Broadway. Walk out and get food, Mother said. Sorrow comes as a consequence, treated as a malleable substance, blue or green, red for glory, no blue, green. I am green holding up blue or red because of the beautiful medieval conceit of flower and leaf. White woman, leave me alone. It's flowing through me for no reason, all this power for no reason, for reason. When you enter the food chain as form, what do you eat? The body-strewn globe bids you welcome, but I've been here before. Do you remember when you first realized people were willing to kill each other for almost no reason? Seeped into the blood or water supply, something I said or did. What do you have to say? You're cruel. I'm not the one like that. But everyone says that. You didn't have to make it into a club. You didn't have to. What did you have to do? I was starved and wanted some bread. You had a club for killing people. I didn't have it. Someone has it. Kill them, you said. I didn't say that. Someone said it. Who said it? I know a guy who said it. You're so naive. If you have to kill people because you're born, why not have a club for it? There's no one here. There's no you here. Your leg is shaking. You've been to war. Is that a reason? You called me white shell woman, so I would be here. I won't let you die. I went back for you, though I'm just a word. There's a night where you don't say words. Do you know that? No, I don't know it. Law disconnecting. It was a fat, hairless man wearing a t-shirt with an image of Jean hyphen something something, the icon in charge of the process called law disconnecting. What happens if about sincerity, I am sincere, no sorry, I don't want that. That world is not here, even if it kills me. Where the mirror broke, she went down there many times. She is asking a man to aid her, but they are not pronouns. They both have gray hair. He puts things in her hands sometimes, stones. Nothing you would value, what these figments, of which I am one, value. Having become almost old, I feel gratified to have aged, but don't know why. The guy pressed a $2 bill to the lap dancer's bad knee is the inversion of this genre. It was on my way down here that the mirror shattered. Sometimes I see face and fragment of past me. Of the t-shirt image of Jean-something. Can I change it to me if I don't know what I look like? I don't want him in charge of law disconnecting. I'm not being methodical, having been shattered. I can't find where you ask it, where you're supposed to believe it. I'm down here, the figment people comfort me over and over. I seem to need so much comfort because you just play at it, who, and the sound of us, nothing. As the morning darkens, gradually change it. In law disconnecting, what are you making? The sound. It will tell you how to be, it always does. A city destroyed but populous returns from my political soul. A light keeps, that's mine, hands, lips, and hair. I am the way forward in law disconnecting. The world I'm dead in. I don't remember what happened in order, because there was no order, but the events had weight and feeling, the world I'm dead in. Where am I, unfounded Mercury, too rapid the assessing of one lifetime? He doesn't know where it is, world. The scientific command given over to, I let them have it all. I need to find you and tell you, but I can't remember the order of events because order is different here. The intermezzo swells that I used to know. Do you like this death? It's a European kind of world, the order. Two women are studying oranges, the color while brown swells because it's after the end of my century. In order, I'm not dead, really. The tidal wave's part of this milieu that you've always dreamed of, crashing over the desert, millions of years. Where are you going? To the California Palace of the Legion of Honor? Frankly, you don't need consecutive order. I sat starkly in the waiting room, waiting to be told I was dead. Was this by executive order? Death was a blonde and wore a black leather jumpsuit. Her dog wore a black leather dog jacket. I had to pat the dog, as in, from now on, in the hospital near a bland window. Since the shattering of the mirror along the way down, I've thought of identity as over. Yet this voice reappears as a force against seduction into the death voice of my supposed times. The wind through no trees, there are none in this quartier, singled you out deliberately for a hatred that was, it was said, in the racial memory, what one might want to destroy, die out of, the racial memory, you woman. Meet you again at Le Corail, meet you inside, death world, dead world, I am so alive in or vice versa. Millions of us. Purportedly a chain of civilian soldiers, voices lice they were called. It is sometimes sufficient to beg, lice creeping over one, kill them with a chemical. Then there are lice ghosts everywhere, glints of pearly nails. The light of my beloved will keep me from noticing. Trailer to keep her in. He asked me if I knew her auction name. Walked over the scorch. What are values when there's nothing here? The wing of a dead soul grows into all the lace you see through, foreigner, lice-ridden article of divestment. Splendid vices pouring outcomes over the eager cash flow promotions. So many of the dead came to me that their transparencies covered my visage. I'm too near you. Don't you want to see? We came from faraway camps, forsaking the human because it broke our bodies into pieces for the torturer's pet who propositions you. There is always a slant on it. The trees must go down, or light affects your eyes badly. We pleaded for an adjustment before we recognizably died. You told me you were a heart, but you were guarding a tower. You said you were a failure, but you helped destroy us. Wings all over me, stuck to my skin. There's no point to it. Why are you here when there's nothing? We just don't believe it. Now, not, no, never you. I wasn't you. You have to talk to me. My name is irretrievable. No one letting you go because you are prized for not existing except as a body, now not. No, I don't exist, alighting and ghoulishly begging you for a drop of your blood, a morsel of your flesh. Yes, take some of me, though there are so many others with flesh, but they're too rich to give. I know they will never let you in, you beautiful kids who haunt the corridors extending through the invisible world so you can find your way, so you can see past the smoke of disastrous fear acting out of dreams. It creeps everywhere. See how it took them over, for they had no mind to stand against any fantasy the instigators chose. Had no minds at all. When I was little, no one told me I'd have to suffer. Who could be a child? And the ghoul patiently explains how the wing of a word can extend till the barrier is made so they can't see us. If you say beauty, that will be ignored and we can hide. It was his name a long time ago, before the auctions began. Her face then was large and younger. She could be Lysa Ghoul. I want that. I don't want action, but I will have to live off bits of you. The new definition of witch is one who lets them eat you if they have to, because you keep regenerating. Oh, that's such an oldie and all that flying. Sometimes they do. The man who showed me a few things sits all day. The teaching is to let them come as far as inside you, even, empty enough. I can hear them and render affection. Why, if there's nothing? Is this nothing? But you are destroyed. We shake all the time. You remind me of someone else I knew. The wing is inscribed for involute, not to beg in the offering of primal services. We have come here. No one would let us tell anything but our bodily humiliations. Had to do differently, not for redemption, because we are more than redemption. I am my maker. The shape formed by the bits of mirror glued on is unimportant. They're inside my chest and stomach and they glitter in here. Then if light disattaches, comes up to be spoken, you can see and you can hear. This is true because each of you has this too, has all the bright pieces inside. There was nothing else left to be. Then I say it, like these pages, or how they would love me for hosting them. The earliest people feared them and subsequent ones deny the dead. Why would I be afraid of all the people dead and martyred? I thought you were talking about words. You knew I wasn't. Dido, who had to be delivered from the wrong story. I want you to know I'm no longer left over. What about our library? Nothing good left there? I want to read the fashion of when you were old a long time ago. Gothic roses in the type. I'm an ancient, had read every book of before they arrested me. I had crossed the black plain. I had held tears. It was abrupt to be walked in a herd pushing us wherever we went to be shot or executed in the earlier style. It is a timeless death placed next to the most beat-up books. Only a book can love me now. We're reading without real eyes. I've read everything too, or in the tradition of telling. It is repeated within you what we did. We must have been trying to make something as we are now, but why? You have the ear for it. The light wants you to reply, asking if a shore had been attained or if the language were Dutch or Swahili. I didn't know. It is how you raise the ground, like raising a child. Every word that comes out of my mouth torn, I'm responsible to. The wind foul pieces here tries to turn me from tenderness the way They killed us in the center of the city that night. The bodies floated in the river while I looked for other souls and saw my face, water damage, denuded texture, and how can I see? Potential returning within its white petals and central whorl. He couldn't believe someone would hate and betray. I told him, but he refused to believe it. Then I left the room. This lace has to be made. Treason, said the ghoul, that peculiar invention, betrayal. How primal was that? And Hesiod, after the light, after chaos and lovers, said the armless woman, said the one cut open, said the smallpox, the strewn children, their bodies woven into the page, so I could find what they thought, even if babies only cry. Those are the bodies when I was no longer alive, but uplifted butterfly of lace with an empty lathe to bifurcate my symmetry. No, I don't believe the lies of the live. I am a spot of light in order to find out, hanging on because it wasn't revealed in death. I know what happened to me, she said. Bleeding, I lay there unblessed. Do I want a blessing now or a God to rebuild me? We have gone beyond God or new lives or death or tribes. I am working on this lace light at present. I accept the drop of sacrificial blood to propitiate me. One piece of you at a time is all I need. I'm letting you feed, I say, because I know this has always been. You've been telling me for years. We needed you if no one else did. We have this project to change our silence into the beautiful city of a voice.